Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Diversion Authority Finance Committee meeting for June 22nd. I'd like at this time to call the meeting to order and ask Don to please call the roll.
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Dr. Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Peterson. Mr. Jacobson.
Here.
Mr. Sprague.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Redlinger.
Here.
Mr. Steen.
Here.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mayor Carlson. Mr. Reeds. Quorum is present.
Thank you, Don. First order of business is to approve the minutes from May 25th, 2022. They're on page 3 in the packet. They have been distributed.
I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Pipcorn. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Mayor Mahoney seconds. It's been moved and seconded. Don, once again, no, we can do a voice call on this one. Excuse me. All those in favor of approving the minutes of May 25th, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 3 is the approve the order of the agenda. I'd call to the attention of everyone that under item 7, the second, the Schmidt and Sons change order 1001 has been removed from the agenda. That will not be discussed at this time. That has been removed.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Thank you, Commissioner Steen. It's been moved and seconded to approve the order of the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 4 is the approval of the bills. This time we'll call on Mr. Steve Sprague, City of Fargo. It's on page 6. It has been distributed. Good afternoon, Mr. Sprague. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Dardis. So this month we have 3 bills to normal vendors totaling $2,243,174. Though of those, $1,755,757 are for flowage and property easements. The balance is engineering or attorney fees.
Are there any questions of Mr. Sprague?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. It's been moved to approve the bill report as presented by Mr. Sprague. Is there a second? Commissioner Steen seconds. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call on this one, please. Don?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Dr. Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobson.
Yes.
Mr. Sprague.
Aye.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 5 is the finance report. Again, we'll call on Mr. Steve Sprague, City of Fargo. It is on page 12. It has been distributed.
Thank you, Mayor Dardis. The financial position shows a net balance of $135,536,953. If there's any questions?
Are there any questions of Mr. Sprague? Thank you for that. This again is a actionable item, but we can do the voice. So I'm going to call for approval of the finance report or a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Pipcorn. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Redlinger. It's been moved and seconded to approve the finance report as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. See, I'm coachable. Item number 6 is the Executive Director's Financial Report. Call on Mr. Paulson. It is on page 33 of the packet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Finance Committee. We'll just start with the annual revenue. Everything appears to be coming in as anticipated. Please draw your attention to City of Fargo sales tax and the Cass County sales tax. Those are coming in as anticipated or a bit above what we expected. Also, please note that we did make another draw on the legacy funds last month. So we drew $2.2 million which brings our year-to-date on that draw to $27 million. So you can see current month-to-date, we had revenues into the program of $6.5 million. I'll move to the budget status, and this does look a bit different than last month. We have updated this with the new baseline information that was presented to the board and the finance committee. So you can see we're now tracking the $2.8 million in our financial plan, and we've divvied out the cost to date at the program level, and then the balance remaining for each of the large categories that you can see there. Moving over to the right-hand side of that page, you can see the fiscal year to date. A majority of our costs, again, as anticipated, are in lands in impacted property mitigation, as well as the non-construction costs and the in-town Fargo projects that we're doing for the River Stage 37. Those are all progressing as anticipated according to the 22 cash budget with no concerns. We'll move and dig in a little bit more on the level 2 detail. So on the first page here, I'll just go down. You can see under North Dakota, Minnesota River Stage 37 projects, you can see cost to date of $4 million for the Fargo projects. We have a remaining balance of 20.8. Those are all moving forward in budget and as anticipated. And on the next sheet, I'll draw your attention to the non-construction costs. That was the year-to-date at $6.6 million. So you can see here we've broken this out between engineering and design fees and then the program management fees. So the program management fees of 4.7 is really related to the most of the coordination with the Red River Valley Alliance and the work that our folks at Jacob are doing, as well as the legal work for the property acquisition for the Cass Joint and the MCC JPA. And then on the next sheet here, this is the overall status. And as the Finance Committee had recommended in previous meetings, they'd like to see the different funds and where those are sitting. So we've broken those out. And so you can see the cost to date this year, as well as the remaining balance. I'm sorry, the cost to date for the program, as well as the remaining balance. And then you can see the different funds for the fiscal year at this point. So no cost to dates in the DA, O&M, and maintenance and the debt service. And so you can kind of compare where those are falling. So. And I'll just note, actual expenses today, as I think Steve had mentioned, for the whole program overall is $804 million. So we did break that 800 mark this month. On the next page is the administrative budget. And so you can see where we're sitting there. Sitting pretty good for the year. I anticipate we'll be under budget. We have made an offer for a senior construction manager position that we expect to fill next month. So that'll bring another authority member on board. We did anticipate bringing 2 members on board this year, so there's still 1 unfilled position. And we are looking at potential lands program manager to help Jody or to work under Jody. And we do anticipate that to come a little bit later than what we had anticipated in the 22 cash budget. So at this point, I don't see us having any issues with the administrative budget, and everything appears to be on track for coming in below budget for the year. So that is all I have, Mr. Chair, but certainly open for any questions that the committee might have.
Thank you, Mr. Paulson. Questions? Questions for Mr. Paulson? Moving on. Oh, excuse me. We'll have to have a discussion or
That was just for your information, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And then we can move to contracting.
please move
action.
on to the actions.
Okay. We have 1 contracting action this month for the Finance Committee to review and take action on. Please disregard the second one. The Schmidt & Sons was removed, and we'll revisit that at a later meeting. The one for consideration would be Task Order 3 for Amendment 0 for the Minn Kota Power contract that we have. This is for a substation that they own that needs to be moved outside of the upstream mitigation area. And so this is the initial contract to begin the work to move that substation.
That's just the beginning of the work, is that correct?
That is correct. I think, Paul, there's going to be probably subsequent task orders on top of this, but this is to get them started with the initial deconstruction of the substation and the removal of the material that's in the upstream mitigation area.
If that was the full cost of moving a substation, that would have been a real bargain.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially considering transformers, I think, are going for $700,000 a piece these days.
Move to approve task order number 3.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Steen, a motion made by Mr. Sprague. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Dr. Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobson.
Yes.
Mr. Sprague.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
That is everyone.
Please continue.
The only other action would be to report out on the DA cash budget changes, and there are no cash budget changes this month. So.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Paulson. Item number 8, under other business, is the DA board approved MOU and agreement actions by Mr. Shockley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Finance Committee. We have two MOUs, one MOU and one MURA for you. The first MURA is with Red River Valley Cooperative Power Association, and that's located on the Minnesota side. That is a Minnesota Electric Cooperative. I would note that the law applying to Minnesota electric cooperatives is slightly different than North Dakota law. And so there are some unique aspects of this MURA, but in general, it is very similar to the other MURAs in which we are coordinating with the utility to relocate existing lines within their service area. They'll have about 9 to 12 farmsteads that are going to be removed and some relocation of their transmission lines so that they can continue to serve within that area. It's a standard MURA in all other regards, and that when we need to do work, there'll be task orders for the board to come back to approve. Because it is a Minnesota entity, there's an interruption fee that's included as part of the agreement. Certainly can answer any questions. All of this has been negotiated out with Red River Valley Cooperative Power Association, and they'd like to get started moving some of the electric utility crossings. So.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Questions? Anyone? If you proceed to the second one, please, Jim.
The second is a MOU for the Diversion Channel. This has been a long time in coming. This has been a lot of work to get this one to the finish line. This is with SBA Towers for the relocation of an SBA tower for a cell tower that is currently within the Diversion Channel right-of-way. The authority's not transferring the obligation set forth in this MOU to the developer. So that's slightly different. So we're continuing to undertake it just because of the location of the towers and some of the other issues about where the new tower is being located. It addresses design, preliminary and planning engineering activities, property interest acquisition, construction. The estimated cost to relocate the cell tower to a new easement on the Cass County Joint Water Resource District property outside of the right-of-way is $1,492,000. So, which also has been negotiated through a lot of negotiations with SBA. And that's part of the reason it took longer to get this one done.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Questions?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Paulson.
I believe this is the last MOU for the diversion channel. Is that correct? So I think that was a big feat to get all these done. So just wanted to make a note, Mr. Chair.
Congratulations to all involved. We have two items. They are an actionable item. We can do one at a time or both together. Your pleasure.
Move to approve both.
Mayor Mahoney moves to approve item 1 and item 2. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Jacobson, second.
Thank you. Mr. Jacobson seconds. It's been moved and seconded to approve the MOU agreement actions, the Red River Valley Power Co-op, and the SBA and MFDA MOU. Is there any further discussion? Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Dr. Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobson.
Yes.
Mr. Sprague.
Aye.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Is everyone?
Thank you, Don. Item B under point 8 is program information points. Mr. Paulson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So again, this is just included for your information in the packet in our attempt to continue to keep everybody up to date of things that are pertaining to the Diversion Authority. So certainly have you review those, and if there's any questions, you can direct them directly to me. So,
All right. Anyone? Okay. Our next meeting will be July 27th. Is there any member of the Finance Committee who would like to bring anything forward at this meeting? Hearing and seeing none, I think it's appropriate that we acknowledge we have two members of the Diversion Authority that got reelected. Congratulations, Commissioner Pipcorn and Mayor Mahoney. Congratulations.
Same to you, Mr.
And
Chair.
me too, and me too.
Same to the chair. We were really surprised you came out so well.
98.2% of the vote.
I couldn't get that right in campaign.
We stand adjourned.